Hi, welcome to Strength Coach TV. I'm Anthony Renna. This is the show where we take you inside some of the country's best fitness facilities, give you a tour, and sit down with the owners, talk a little bit of shop. So today we're heading up to Clinton, Massachusetts to Achieve Performance. Jeremy Frisch. This is a unique episode. I love this episode. Jeremy is somebody who is very well respected in our industry and who has such a passion for working with young people. Really passionate in terms of educating other trainers on how, and parents, on how kids should develop and how they should be trained. He's really doing some great things. And it's so unique because he's in an old elementary school, one that he went to. He actually used to have lunch in his gym as a kid. So this is a really special episode. You can see how much fun that Jeremy makes it. He's working, when we come up, you're gonna see where he's working with some of the really young kids and then some high school kids and some college kids. But Jeremy is somebody that we can all learn from. He's leading by example up in Clinton, Mass. So let's head up there to Achieve Performance. Hey everybody, welcome to Strength Coach TV. I am in Clinton, Massachusetts at Achieve Performance Training. We were at an Achieve already. I don't want to get anybody confused. I'm here with Jeremy Frisch. Jeremy, thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Let's start out with, all right, first of all, how long you been doing this? You know, Achieve as a facility owner.
So we've been open 6 years now. Yeah,
6 years?
Yep. 3 different facilities. So we started in a commercial gym, kind of outgrew that space, moved to an old mill, like a mill building.
Yep.
Building fell apart on us, and then we ended up here in my old elementary school.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
All right, well, we got to get into it.
Sure, sure.
Let's talk about the element. We're in elementary school. You can kind of see, and you'll see a little bit of this.
Yep.
Interesting location. Absolutely love it.
Yep.
Tell us how, because when you're going to look for a space, you don't think, let me go look, see if there's any empty elementary schools.
Sure.
Tell us how this happened.
So the word got out that my old facility, we had to leave. You know, it was just not feasible for us to be there anymore. It was a little dangerous, as I said. There was bats flying around at night, and just, you know, I don't think our clientele really wanted that. You know, that type of thing. So, you know, word spread in town. I live in a small town. I grew up here, know a lot of people, and word got to the superintendent. You know, he heard that I was looking for space. I was walking down the street one day, I saw him, he's like, hey, I got some space, if you want to come check it out. I walk in, it's my old elementary school cafeteria. And it's like, what do you think? And I was like, I love it. And he's like, all right, if you can move in whenever you want. So, and that was
wild. Let's segue that really quick onto, you grew up here.
Yep.
I mean, and tell us how much that's helped just in your business alone.
Sure, I mean, from, you know, moving equipment from the old place to here, you know, one of the kids' dads had a construction company, moved everything for us.
Yeah.
One of the guys who helps me, you know, he's great with construction. He put up all the turf, he put up all the racks in there, he did all the construction for us. You know, the old building that we're in, the guy who owned it, and his parents owned it, you know, I played college football with. So it's like, you know, we would have never survived or even started without being able to know people to help you.
And then people obviously knew you. They knew you played football, college football. That helps too.
Yep.
Having a local name as well. So very cool.
Yep.
Tell me who your member is though here.
How many?
No, who is it? Who's
we
the
have,
person?
you know, pretty much, we have kids as young as kindergarten all the way up into adults. And I mean, right now there's probably college kids in there. We got military guys in there. We have, you know, you saw my kids.
Yeah.
Their friends are in there. So it runs we got every type of person you can think of in there. Afternoons, we're packed with high school athletes, you know, mostly college football. I mean, mostly football, you know, baseball, basketball, all your major sports, things like that. As the day goes on, then we got younger kids in, so then we have a whole slew of middle school kids coming in. You know, those kids are a little bit more, you know, I guess it's more organized. We have to kind of stay on top of them more, a little bit more in the athletic development realm, you know what I mean? And as the day goes on from there, the younger they get, then we get like young middle school, you know, elementary school kids, and that's like phys ed, you know, all the kids, athletic, you know, fitness, things like that. And then at night, when those guys are done, then we have a whole slew of adults coming back in. You know, so everyone gets out of work and wants to do. So we have We have adult classes that go like, just like everyone else, really early in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm here at 5:30, I got another group of ladies that come in at like 8:30, and then I have like personal training clients that come in after that, probably around 11 or 12, and I have some time off. I might work out, go home, and I pick up my kids, bring them home from school, and then I'm back here at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
And we're going.
What kind of memberships do you have? You mentioned personal training classes. So what kind of a business memberships do you have?
So the majority of the people that we have as far as adults, you can come by. Come on.
We got kids coming, walking through. It's cool.
So the majority of the adult clients that we have do kind of like a group class.
Okay.
We do different circuits and different, just general all around fitness. Things like that. I don't do a ton of personal training because I can only really do it between like 9:30 a.m. and 12 p.m. and we don't get a lot of people at that time. So I have a few people that do it, but not a lot. The majority is our kids programs after school, high school, and middle school. That's really when they're always usually training in groups. I don't ever train any like young kids or high school, middle school kids like one-on-one. And when we sit down after the tour, we're gonna talk about training the kids. I know it's a passion of yours. Yeah, I love it.
It's probably the number one reason I really wanted to come up here. So the patch.
The
patch fitness. If anybody doesn't know, Jeremy's gonna show us inside a little bit. And the kids are playing around right now. It's a little crazy. Might be a couple kids coming up to them.
It's fine.
But yeah, let's go and
let's do
the facility.
All right, come on in. We're gonna check out a typical day at a Chief Performance Training. And so don't mind the kids here. They got a session going on right now. We got a group of our elementary school and middle school kids working out right now, as well as a fair amount of high school and college kids as well. They're on spring break, so you'll see some older kids here as well. So typically if kids come in, we had to put these lockers in here because God forbid the kids leave their phones and stuff out in the hall. They have to have access to their phones and their everything else. So their lockers are right here. So everyone usually comes in here, puts their stuff in a locker. They don't lock. I made it so they don't lock, so we don't have to deal with combinations and all that baloney. Sure.
Cool.
Good.
I'm working on the sticks over there.
Yep. So typically when a group of athletes, especially like middle school or high school, come in, they'll usually have a few minutes. They might stretch on their own. But typically the first thing we do is, they're starving for movement. So we start all our warm-ups. The first thing we do is start moving around. So we're skipping, we're hopping, we're shuffling, we're working on all our basic movements. Every day, every group, all the time. And so we always start, you guys want to come in here? So we got a fair amount of turf. We can run multiple groups, and so after our typical warm-up, these guys usually do some mobility. We usually spend 5 to 10 minutes on mobility drills, just trying to get them open up and getting ready to a little bit more difficult training for the day. It's nothing crazy, nothing rocket science. We just want them to feel better, be loose and ready to go. Yeah, I mean, all the kids now that we've been doing it for about a year, they learn it, they know it. We have kids that take them home. We have kids that went to the hardware store and bought their own. You know what I mean? So, and they can just go on our Instagram or YouTube and just follow a video, whether it's us or someone else that made them. So,
the square footage of the original?
I think it was 3,000, around 3,000. Yeah, and that was almost another 1,000 or so. Yeah, so, so much happens on the turf. So much happens on the turf for us. And, after about, so let me backtrack a little bit. After we get done stretching and doing our mobility work, we usually get right into some type of movement.
Davis already knew what's up.
Movement stuff that we do. So if you want to follow me down here, watch out for these guys. Out in the hall, we kind of spilled out in the hall a little bit. Yeah, so this is where we do like hurdle mobility. you know, we got trampolines, we got wrestling mats, but what I do a lot is when I got a lot of kids in here, and especially the younger kids, I can move these hurdles off to the side, line them up on the concrete, and then we have this wrestling mat, and we'll do, you know, and the balance beam, so we can set up a little movement circuit for the kids that they need. You know, this is the stuff they really need, is to move around. So we go over, under, ducking. We can do bear crawls, backwards bear crawls. We can roll. We can do different things on the balance beam out here and kind of be out of the way until space opens up.
Yeah.
So we use out here a ton as well. Today's Friday, so there's not as many kids in, but you know, usually you'll see kids out here all the time doing stuff. They're not here right now. We also have these Dollimer wrestling mats. They're really light mats that roll up. And so we use them all the time. We can just literally take them out. It runs the entire length of this hall.
Really?
We can skip, shuffle, do dynamic warm-ups, stretch, and then at the end of the night, roll them up, put them back. Cool. You know, and at the same time, like when my kids are down here, their friends, or we have the younger groups going, we can just roll them out on the turf, and we can do all kinds of different games and not worry about kids falling, you know, getting hurt, turf burn, stuff like that. You know what I mean?
I see some of the videos of all the kids playing in here. It's great. And obviously they're running around now.
Yeah, and it's a little different than a typical gym. We have like, some of the equipment we have is geared for kids, you know, so you're gonna see a lot of that when we're here, you know?
Just tell that story. One of the things you saw at Holy Cross that kind of sparked, not only you were already passionate about it for a long time, but tell us the story of how you really wanted to, what you were seeing.
Yeah, so you know, at college, and most college strength coaches will tell you, you don't get access to the kids a ton, especially at academic school like Holy Cross. Like, you know, most of the athletes I saw maybe twice a week, and when they were in season, even less. And so I felt like some of the things that we were trying to get them to do, or I was trying to get them to do, they couldn't do because their time, they were almost too old. Like if they had started doing some of the things that I wanted them to do when they were like maybe 9, 10, 11, or 12, you know, it probably would have benefited them later. So for me, I started backtracking and trying to figure out, well, when should I do this type of exercise? When should I do that? And it's really, you know, almost by necessity, I felt like I had to go that way. I had to go in that direction because to try to get and see the things that I wanted to do, or trying to develop an athlete the way I wanted to, I needed to start younger and younger. So,
you know, how old are your kids now?
So you'll see two of mine are, you know, I got one that's 9, I got another one that's 7, and then I have a 5-year-old and a 4-year-old. You know, so it's great for them. They get to grow up down here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so if anything, they get to be, you know, they get some good physical literacy being down here. So.
It's going to be the room.
Yeah.
You have.
Sure.
Originally, this room wasn't. You didn't. It was closed off. Right?
So, like we talked about before, so this was my elementary school cafeteria. So this whole place, the walls were white and the floor was bare, and it was just full of tables. And it was a lot bigger, I felt like then, than it is now. And so this room right here was the kitchen. Right? So when we first moved in here, it was full of stainless steel equipment and things like that. And, you know, things were bolted into the ground. So we had to come in and Sawzall and cut it out. And so when we first moved in here originally, we couldn't get it out. It took us a while. We probably didn't get this room up and going until about 6 months in. Yeah, so over here behind that wall, there's still an oven that we can't get out because it probably weighs 3,000 pounds. So that thing's stuck there forever. But it's a great room for us because it separates the older kids, the kids who are really lifting, especially doing Olympic lifts, where we have to drop the weights. You know, it separates them from the younger group of kids that are running around on the turf. So we pretty much do all our explosive stuff in here, kettlebell stuff, and then over here it's more like, you know, your slower lifting, squats and benches and deadlifts and things like that. You know, obviously we have our dumbbells over there, around the boxes over here. We have both competition kettlebells and regular kettlebells. You know, I did my SFG a few years ago, and so ever since then I was really kind of, you know, we use it a lot. We use it a lot. You know, we use kettlebells a ton. If the way I look at it is, you know, we never go over maybe 5 reps, but Olympic lifts, we probably never go over 3 reps. But with swings, kettlebells, you can do lots of reps explosively. So I think they work great together for an athlete. You know what I mean? So the rig, you know, we do a lot of squats, and you know, we can bench off this, like, and we have the the pull-up bars.
Pretty versatile.
It's
right?
everything, yeah. I mean,
seems to be going in this direction.
yeah, jungle gyms can put on here. I made these rings so the kids have like their own little monkey bars to go back and forth. You'll see them coming flying through here. So yeah, it's a great little tool to have. I mean, we use it so much, and the biggest issue we had with it when we first came in was this brick is extremely soft. So we had to put a header up and then drill in a couple times. And like a lot of times the brick was just like falling apart.
Yeah.
So we had to get some special screws and things like that. But eventually it stuck, so it's up for now.
Good stuff.
So yeah, it's great.
Let's go and have a seat.
Sure.
And we'll talk some business questions.
Yeah.
All right, Jared. Let's start out with the story again of I want to kind of hammer home the importance of sometimes we got to do things in a hurry, and B, how many friends you got. Tell us the story about you guys moving in here pretty much overnight.
Sure. So
what happened over there?
So we got to the point where it wasn't feasible to be in there. Like I said, we had bats flying around. It was the heat in the place and the electricity and all that stuff. It came to a point where I couldn't handle it, and so I was looking for a place, and I saw the superintendent and walking down the street one day, and he said, "Hey, I got this space, and if you want to come check it out, you can." And I walked in, I said, "I'll take it," and it was like the middle of the month, so I had to call. That day I had to call the current landlord and be like, "Listen, we've been here a long time, but I'm gonna leave." And then I called the superintendent back and I said, "Hey, we're coming like at the end of the month." So that we had like 15 days. And so like I had to order turf, because the old turf that we had was like that field turf.
Yeah.
And it was bolted into the ground, and it was just there's no way we were taking it with us.
Yeah.
That stuff was going. So I had to order new turf. I had to, we'd get different equipment. I just had to make sure that the current equipment that we had, like it all fit in there, so we didn't have spots. We wanted to look nice, obviously, and be presentable. So within like 2 weeks, we, got everything prepped, and in literally one weekend, we broke everything down, threw it in the back of a truck. A kid that, his dad owned a construction company. We took his flatbed, threw everything in the back. Those rubber mats are like 100 pounds a piece.
I know. We were talking about just the shipping alone sometimes.
Right. So I had literally an army of high school kids helping me. Even kids that I was like, "Dude, I'll give you a month free." So we had kids that never even came here, jumped in and helped out. And we were like down the stairs, just throwing rubber mats. And just trying to get in here as fast as we can. And we had like 2 other guys who were, construction, putting up the rig and putting the mats, putting the turf down. Yeah, it was crazy.
No loss of business, right?
No loss of business. So we got it done Sunday night. We got the last piece of turf down. I got the kettlebells in. The dumbbells were set. The rig was up. The barbells, some of that was still in the hallway, but we had a 5:30 adult class on Monday morning.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so we got it done, yeah. So.
Let's talk a little more about the location.
Yep.
Again, all right. Let's get over the fact that we're in an old elementary school.
Yep.
But we are in the basement.
Sure.
So nobody's walking by. Number one.
Yep.
What challenges that kind of presented you from a business perspective? Even though, like you said, you grew up here, you got 4 kids, you 2 in a school right across the street.
Yep.
You know everybody. So, but has it created any challenges business-wise?
Just, I think when we first moved in, there was so many people used to us being at the old place, and we had a lot of visibility where we were. So where we were at the old place, not only we were on the main street, but also the first floor, people walked by our gym, the doors were open, you could peek in anytime. On the 3rd floor, there was a batting cage. So there was tons of athletes just walking by all the time, So people, even if they didn't come to the facility, they knew who we were. So then when we left, I felt like, not everyone knew where we were, and it wasn't a big deal over time. It changed pretty quickly once the word got out there. But like I said, when I sent you an email before you got here, I'm like, dude, there's no sign. There's no sign here, and we can't really put one up because it's still a public school building. The superintendent's still upstairs, administration's up there, so we can't have all kinds of stuff, outside. So
what about parking? I parked right in front here. There's no problem parking?
No problem, and that was an issue at the old place when it snowed out, because it was so hard to put It wasn't their fault. It was just the location. When it snowed really, when we got a lot of snow, they couldn't have anywhere to put it. You know, so it got tough. People couldn't park all the time, and add the baseball cages, there was across the hall from us, there was a dog grooming place. So people are coming in and getting their dogs. You know, so there's a lot of people coming in and out of the building. Here, it's different. Like, you know, once 3 o'clock hits and the administration's done for the day, nobody's here. There's there's one night we just have there's like adult education they have upstairs, but it still works. I mean, there's this building with the parking lot here. You have the street. You have the church across the street as well. So there's tons of parking here, which is a godsend for me because that was a big deal. You know, in the place.
Sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't. Like we're talking to Jason and Lauren at Achieve Boston, and you know, for them, there's a lot of people who live in the neighborhood and bikers, etc. What about just in terms of not mistakes, but some things that you kind of would want to take back in from this facility, and like maybe like, oh, we should have knocked the wall down earlier, we should have done this, or what are some things maybe that you feel like you should have done?
So there are actually, you can't see it from over there. There's actually another room in the back that we could have like taken advantage of, but I was so like, I just needed to get in here really quickly, and I wish I went in there and just, as you know, knocked that wall down and just kept going, but I didn't. So that was one thing. It's not a lot of room, but it would have helped us a little bit more with space. You know, and just this whole building. So painting the walls, things like that, you know, those type of things. You can still see like this stuff from when the school was here. This was this was the first grade. You know what I mean? So things I can still fix. I wish I did it when I first started. You know what I mean? So what can I? Okay, perfect. Okay, we'll get it. We'll be in. As far as equipment I had already, so that was good. Like I had everything we needed, and I slowly, you know, been buying equipment every month a little bit. You know, my wife said it to me best. She's like, "You need some new medicine balls," and I'm like, "I know. I just don't have all the money yet to get it." And she's like, "If you bought one ball a month, you got 12 new med balls at the end of the year." I'm like, you know what? You're right. Like, just buy something little, you know. So, and I got, like I told you too, like going back to knowing people. I know the principal at a school in another town over, and they were getting rid of mats and all kinds of equipment. And so I've gotten a lot of stuff like donated or given to me. Well, these lockers, there was a company going out of business. Those guys were like, "Hey, you want these? Come get them." So I got a bunch of lockers, trampolines, things like these wrestling mats. These were sitting in a guy's front yard.
That's great.
You know, and he was like, "You want them?" He's like, "I'm not coaching anymore, so you could use them. You cut them up. You can do them. You can use them for anything." You know? So it's great.
What any plans? Because again, the more you do some of those kids stuff, right? The adolescent stuff, and the more you get excited. I mean, it's so great to see them. They're so excited right now. Right while they're in there playing, they're having a blast. Would you want a bigger place at some point? You do. Okay,
So there's two things happening right now. There's above us is the old auditorium. So as of right now, there's a basically they call it the play gym. It's a gym. It's a public run program through the schools for toddlers. So the kids can come up and like there's like little like triangle blocks and foam blocks and castles and things, and anyone in town can go and bring their kid. I used to bring these guys when they were tiny. So that's up there now. They don't use all the space. So I've been talking to the superintendent of trying to get half of that. Up there is crazy. The ceilings are like, 40 feet high. That's where we had gym class when I was a kid. So we could, in essence, take that over as well and have like a upper lower type thing. So then I would just have like a space dedicated like full time to like the kid stuff. You know what I mean?
What about office space? Any office space for you in here?
Not really. I got one tiny little room around the corner, but it's become like storage. It's a mess. So I usually just carry my computer in my backpack, pull it out. I stand and do it. So it's just
get it done.
It's one of those things,
Great stuff. Well, I love what you're doing here, and I love this kids program, and we're gonna take some B-roll of that too,
of course.
So we can have. But thanks for doing this,
absolutely.
man. Really,
thanks for coming. It's great.
A long time coming, and great to see you guys. What you're doing here.
Yeah, thanks. I love it.
Down. Right hand. Down.
know.